These birds are probably my favorite bird. If not, they're up there because I don't know of any other birds that really top them, at least off the top of my head. It's the only bird that can fly in any direction it wants, even upside down. And when Spanish explorers first saw them, they called them flying jewels because they thought they were so beautiful. It's named after the sound its wings make while beating. That's right, it's the hummingbird. There are over 350 different hummingbirds living only in South and North America continents, so sucks to be the rest of the world. With the largest being the giant hummingbird. It lives in the Andes Mountains, close to South America, and it gets about 8 inches long, maybe this big. And that's about as big as hummingbirds get. It weighs about 20 grams, so it's not all that hefty either. The smallest being the bee hummingbird, which can only grow to maybe 2.4 inches. That's like smaller than my finger, which, if you want to see, looks like that. It's really, really small. They only can get to weighing about the size of a dime. Like, if you felt an American dime, that's about how much a bee hummingbird weighs. And that's crazy. Most of a hummingbird's weight will come from its chest muscles. That'll account for about 25 to 30% of its body weight. And this is because its wings need to beat 50 times per second. This is what allows them to be the most acrobatic bird of all time. It can fly forwards, it can fly backwards, side to side, upside down, it don't matter. They can go in any direction they want. That's not the only impressive thing about hummingbirds, though. Their hearts beat about 1,260 times a minute. It's about 21 times a second, which is the fastest heartbeat of literally anything we've ever found, ever. We don't know of anything that can have a heartbeat that's faster than that. And what's crazy is while its heart's beating that fast, it also takes about 150 breaths in that same minute. Now I want to talk about these guys' brains for a second. Their brain accounts for about 4.2% of their entire body weight. Comparing that to a human's brain, which only accounts for about 2% of our body, it means for the size they are, they have a huge brain. Small bird, big brain. And as I bet you can guess, they have a fantastic memory. Even being able to remember specific flowers or feeders that they eat from. How many flowers might they visit, you ask? Well, they'll visit approximately 1,000 flowers a day. I struggle to remember my own name, and these birds are on a first name basis with every flower in the neighborhood. They also use their brains to see colors. They can see reds, greens, yellows, all things pretty common for us, but they can even see colors as deep as ultraviolet, which no human is going to ever pick up. Their sense of smell is also way better than ours, and they use these senses to differentiate the flowers, and they even pick favorites. These little guys will find and frequent their favorite flowers, which in a way will let people have their own hummingbirds, since you just have to find the right flowers that the hummingbirds want to eat, and then they'll come to your house. So you can't necessarily have them per se, but you can definitely have a regular visitor. And I used to think I was a deep sleeper, but nothing I have ever done, no matter how impressive I may think it is, even comes close to these comatose comrades. Hummingbirds have evolved to go into a deep sleep called a torpor, which is similar to hibernation, except they don't sleep for long periods of time. It's just their regular sleep. And it drops their metabolic rate 95%, which means that their internal temperature drops down to hypothermic levels. If a human was at hypothermic levels, we would be sending them to the hospital because they are on the verge of death. But these birds just casually go to sleep like that. And sleeping like this is no joke, because it takes them anywhere from 20 minutes to an hour to wake up from this hypothermic sleep. That puts any late riser I know to shame. Since hummingbirds sleep at hypothermic levels, it means the cold doesn't really bother them. So they live in colder climates. Some live in Alaska or Canada, or other cold places like the Andes Mountains in South America. But what they do mind is not having enough food to eat. And that's why most of them will migrate towards the equator during their respective winter seasons. Since their diet consists of nectar or glucose, which is sugar, which they also have adapted a really cool W-shaped end at the end of their tongue to eat, they must follow where the food goes. And since flowers like to go away during winter, so do the hummingbirds. Hummingbirds will also eat bugs, which leads me to my next topic, homes. Hummingbirds have a nasty habit of pillaging and robbing spiders for their webs. And they use that spider's home to make their comfy spider web and moss nests. And for those of you worried about the spiders, they don't need to take that much webs from them, because on average, the size of a hummingbird's nest is the size of an American 50-cent coin, which is about this big. However, this nest is plenty spacious for the 1 to 3 eggs that a hummingbird may lay, especially since they're about the size of a jelly bean. Speaking of these eggs, let's talk about the life cycle of these little guys. Females will be drawn to the vibrant colors of the males, and they will breed anywhere from 1 to 3 times a year. The eggs take about 11 to 18 days to hatch, and the mother will keep the nest hot, running around 96 degrees Fahrenheit. This is a good time to say that hummingbirds are the kings of being deadbeat fathers. The father is not involved whatsoever, and hummingbirds will have many partners in their lives. In other words, they don't mate for life. After the eggs hatch, their mother will feed and take care of them for the next 18 to 25 days, and then they'll take off, start their own lives, and the cycle will start anew. And this will pretty much happen their whole lives. Hummingbirds live about 3 to 5 years, with some individuals having made it to 11 to 12. Those are edge cases, but we can be hopeful. Unfortunately, they are a very fragile animal, and they're hunted by everything. Owls will get them, snakes will get them, blue jays will get them, gulls will get them. Even a bee or a wasp sting has enough venom to kill some of these guys. That's not the only issue these guys have. They've evolved super lightweight feet, making it impossible for hummingbirds to walk or even hop around. It's not a big issue, however, because on one takeoff, they can fly for about 500 miles without ever having to land. So, it kind of equals out. They mostly use their feet for holding onto branches and sliding their feet across the branch. They also use them for bathing or giving themselves a good scratch when they're itchy. As you guys can tell, I love these birds, and I always take the time to stop and watch anytime I see a bouquet of hummingbirds. That's right, a group of hummingbirds is called a bouquet. They might also be called a charm or a shimmer, and it seems I'm not the only one that thinks they're beautiful, obviously. I hope I've shown you viewers at least something new or cool about what has got to be my favorite birds. I hope you guys liked this video and maybe got some more appreciation of nature. Until next video, stay safe, stay curious, and go adventure.